Hey everybody, Ryan here with Go For It Studios. Just got back from Home Depot, waited like 45 minutes for the cut table. Anyway, got back, got just about all the materials I need to start doing the bed rebuild. So just to show you guys. So instead of doing the interlocking ribs, I designed this to be two pieces of 3/8 that are reinforced underneath. That would slide out, and then when it's pulled out evenly, it clicks down into place and creates a full-size bed frame. And then you just lift up on these handles and you'd push it back in. And it's all wobbly right now because I took off the top piece of trim there that holds the board down, and I took off the entire end over there already. There's some of the new wood I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do is redesign it so you can see how large this profile is right here and how much dead space we have here also. Now if you look at the framing underneath, it's just so much empty space. I did the cubic feet and it's just too much unused. I've got a limited height here, so I redesigned it to be lower profile, using thicker bed boards, so 3/4 inch instead of 3/8 for the rigidity. And I am going to be cutting holes or slots or something to lighten it up while not ruining the integrity of the wood. And then I'm just not going to overbuild it this time like I did on this one. As you can see, a lot. I mean, I built it like a framer because I'm a framer. So, you know, 2-foot centers and spanning it and just way too much. And then, I mean, that right there is 4.5 inches of just dead space. Just ridiculous. And absolutely no reason for this leg here if it gets just tied into a cleat. So the goal is going to be make the bed height just at the top of the wheel well. So I'll probably actually cut around so that the top of the wheel well is flush with the top of the 3/4 inch board. That's going to be the first half. The second half will have a similar catch right here for when it comes out, but it's not going to be one that slides and is super restricted and restrained. I've got some neodymium magnets I might try using. But anyway, with the lower profile, more sleek edition that we're going to be building, I'm also going to be creating a pocket right here that'll have a 5-foot table that'll draw out from there. And I've got a whole rail system and everything designed, so I don't have to use drawer rails or anything. And it's going to catch on the end here and give it the ability to pivot. So my van doesn't sit level because I have about a 2.25 inch rake, and wherever I'm parked may not be level either. So this table that I've designed is going to come out, and the legs are going to be inside slots in the table, and they'll rotate down, and they're telescoping legs. So whatever the height is, I can set it, and I'll have a perfect table height coming out about 5 feet from the van. And then all my kitchen cookware will be here, where previously it was stored up in the front for some unknown reason I thought made sense. Anyway, so first step is going to be take out the entire bed structure here, and I'm going to recycle all of the screws. The rest of it is wood glued together, and that tight bond ultimate stuff is no joke. So definitely be able to reuse the screws, all my brackets and my 90-degree angle stuff, and try to reuse some of the wood if I can. I'm not really into just wasting things. So let's get going. Let's see what we can do today. All right, I got the base and the sliding top board out. We're gonna completely remove all the screws now and do some deco. And that's kind of what I'm working with now, is this space, which hasn't been revealed in a couple years since we put the bed in here. Anyway, really excited. This is pretty freaking out great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to completely clean and wash this get it real nice and clean. I've got these holes that aren't going to be reused, so I'm going to be filling those up with some silicone. I've got pressure treated boards underneath and some good insulation under there, so I want to protect that stuff. Yeah, we'll get this swept out, wiped down, caulked up, and then while the silicone's drying, we'll get the screws out of those top and bottom halves. Oh, and there's my 77 XL350 that goes on the back of the van. I got new parts and everything coming for that too, so I'm really freaking stoked. And if you can see over here, that's the blue that I went with for my drum covers and my calipers. All right, let's get this thing cleaned out. All right, got it swept out, got it wiped down. I also got white dots because I was in a hurry and I got white silicone. That's the key. But tiny dots, not really worried about it. It's all gonna get covered up anyway by brand new bed frame. Now it's time to deconstruct. All right, so there's no screws left in this. Just to give you an idea of how strong that wood glue is, it doesn't need screws. There's no screws in here anymore. All the framing is still attached and not falling apart. Okay, one piece, but everything else, there's no screws. And it's just, I have to try. But pretty strong stuff, pretty stoked that it works so well. And yeah, now we're gonna get working on the new bed frame. All right, everybody, so I've got this 3/4 inch board cut to length at 60 inches, and it is 18 inches wide. And I've already made the one cut on this pocket, but I'm gonna have the two pockets where my telescoping legs, my Mr. Long Arms, like 10 bucks, they're gonna fit right into here. And there will be on the underside a dado cut or a notch coming in on both sides, where will be a rod that goes through here and a wooden dowel that I'm going to put in there just to help strengthen that because it's pretty flimsy. And then I'll have on the back side of it, there'll be just like some flat strapping. I think I got these from a construction yard dumpster, but yeah, you know, just straps. I'm going to cut those to length, and those will hold the aluminum rod in there and allow it to swivel at the same time. And yeah, we're gonna get going. I don't have my DeWalt stuff, so just using my buddy's stuff. It works, it's good, you know, for this. And pretty excited to actually have a saw, because that's one thing I didn't bring, and I really miss my worm drive, but this is kind of too small of a project for a worm drive. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna get going on this, finish cutting out those slots, and then get this thing sanded and prepped for polystain. And then I'm gonna probably finish that piece tomorrow, so I'll move on to another piece tonight. But yeah, let's get going. All right, so getting into the staining process, gonna do the back side of it first with a nice light coat so that it doesn't drip onto the front edge. I'm gonna flip it over, put it on those little tiny cleats, and stain the front all nice and pretty. I didn't even bother sanding the back side or getting the markings off because it's underneath and I really don't care. Then you guys will see tomorrow how I trim it all out once it's all dry. Ciao. All right, so we've got the first layer on the front and back of that. I'm definitely gonna like double or maybe triple, probably only double the top layer. Right now, I got the lights on in the van, some of them. Just threw in a new piece just so I've got another thing I can screw to. I've got the line marked out there. And so now I'm just gonna carry that line across here so I can get my cleating on there and over here. And that cleating is what's gonna hold that top 3/4 inch board, which is actually gonna be flush with the top of the wheel well. So I'm actually gonna be cutting out the 3/4 inch on a bevel around that. That way I can make sure it's as low profile as possible when the mattress gets put on it. Since the mattress adds another 6 inches, and I want to be able to have headroom so that I'm not just, you know, crunching forward on my neck. I want to be able to actually sit on the couch or on the bed when it's in couch mode. So I'm gonna finish getting that line traced all the way across, and then I'm gonna cut some cleats out of some 2x4 material that I scavenged out of a construction dump bin the other night. It's just full of finish nails, so it's got a little bit of cleaning up to do, but that is totally fine with me. And I'm gonna get everything I need from it. I wish I didn't glue the ever-living hell out of the old bed frame, because then I'd be able to get more of that material. But at this point, I mean, I could try it, but it's probably gonna splinter and shred off. But I don't know, we might give it a go anyways. There are pieces of it that I'm gonna just rip with the saws, like the big trim pieces that were out front that it's sitting on right now, that big long piece. And I found some other 1x material when I was cruising the high seas of the urban roads in my minivan sail ship, pirating people's goods that they were putting out for the large trash pickup on Friday mornings. And I was able to get some more 1x material, which is pretty rad. So I might be using that 1x material to actually do my cleating. And it's already getting kind of dark and we're in an HOA, so we'll just see what we can get done tonight, and I'm going to keep working on it tomorrow after school. Yeah, let's see what we can do. All right, got the second layer down on this, looking nice. I think that's probably as dark as I want to go with it. It's looking pretty good. The light's kind of bad right now, but anyway. And I got this line drawn all the way across, and I got the first cleat cut, so we can get that. If you guys don't know what a cleat is, it's just like in a closet where the shelf hangs from wall to wall, and instead of using like a wall bracket, you use a cleat. Anyway, so we're going to cleat it here, and over there at the end. And then we're going to, using this straight line, because I know that that's straight from when I did the floor, I can pull my measurements out, and then I will be able to take my piece and get it slightly curved on that side for the wall, get my notches cut out for the gas insert and for the wheel well, and then also get this fun little corner jigged out, but you know, up at that height, so won't be too bad. And once I get that top piece, well, I'm gonna pull some layout actually first. So I'll pull some layout where I need it off the wall, and from over there off the wall, get my line over here, squared off of this edge, of course, knowing that that's square, and kind of get a temp base, you know, like a little box quickly put together so that I have something to put that 3/4 inch on at the right height. That way I can get the lines and everything scribed properly. Anyway, we're gonna kind of keep putting around, doing things quietly since it's darker now, and I should probably actually pack up. Fucking HOAs. All right guys, it's the next day. I got ahead a little bit and I started doing some work, but I haven't permanently installed anything other than another cleat on over there at the right height. So now I've got my cleats along the wall. This is my cookware tub that I've just been sitting there as a reference for sizing. I've got my chalk line snapped going down the van. I mean, I know it's not straight as far as the wood goes, but it's where the bed needs to go. That's what matters. And I've started getting, I mean, that piece temped in. Obviously I'll pull it out, sand it down, and get it stained. This is looking great. I still need to go, I forgot to grab the dowels that I'm going to put in there to strengthen that up a bit, so then I can drill a hole through it, and then on the underside I'll dado out these edges so I can put that rod in there, and then those will pivot. But that thing's looking great. This is going to be the face of the bed, so when we come in the sliding door, you'd look at it, you know, over here, and that'll be open storage capability. I haven't decided if I'm going to do drawers or keep my tubs, but leaving it open like this allows me to have that option. Over here though is going to be walled off, and behind that is going to be that cookware tub, because now it'll slide out from the back, and the table will slide out from above that 5 feet out, and those telescoping legs will come down and they'll pivot off of an aluminum rod that stays inside where the framing is going to be right here. And then that way, no matter where I'm parked, my table will be level. I thought about doing it on drawer sliders, but I already have a 2 1/4 inch rake on my van. I mean, when you look at it dead on, you can already see that it tilts towards the front. And that's the way I wanted it. Even when I rebuild the suspension and lower it a little bit, I'll have the S10 springs in there. So it'll probably be about this same rake. And that's just better for when I have my motorcycle on the back. Then the van somewhat levels out, still a little high in the back. But yeah, I've got the rest of my boards. That's going to be the first board that goes down for the bed platform. That'll be consisting the board that goes on top of that one. So now with this, this is drying. I just did the second coat on there for the polystain, and then I'm going to measure and cut my aluminum angle, because there's going to be a 90-degree aluminum angle that goes along that top edge. And this is a piece that extends up above, so the 3 1/4 inch bed will rest on this 3 1/4 inch and then be capped off with that 3 1/4 inch aluminum angle, all nice and shiny and awesome looking. That little saw goes through batteries real quick, and then the batteries take forever to charge. They've been on there for at least an hour, so definitely different than my DeWalt stuff at home. But I mean, I can only fit so many tools when traveling in my van. Anyway, so next stage is get some other stuff kind of figured out. I was actually able to move my seat back to a comfortable position again now that I have the old bed frame removed and my toolbox isn't there. And I have enough room with the bed coming all the way to here that up here I'm going to have a little bookshelf. Down here I'm going to have another little storage cabinet, and this can be open space. And that open space is gonna one day have like a Dometic fridge. I mean, probably not brand name Dometic, because you know I'm not rich. And this board right here is actually gonna be cut out, I think maybe over here or so. So then I'll have a little bit more book storage over here, and then down here I'm gonna have like above the height for where perspective fridge will go. I'll have a little shelf over there for like charging cell phones and stuff while you're laying in bed. And then I'll be pulling this old boy out and rebuilding this rack or shelf over here too. But it'll allow me to have some deeper storage over here with some actual bins. Then my books won't be flopping around because they'll be up on a dedicated bookshelf. I'll have setup area to where I can actually have a battery bank, you know, one day when I do solar and auxiliary power and all that stuff. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, I'm actually gonna have, even though I have a lower profile bed where it's shorter or it's closer into the wall and it's shorter, because the way I'm designing it, I actually have more space that's usable, which is just awesome. And then I'm gonna have a better area right here to come through. I'm just really stoked for all of this, and it's about time, you know. I love this fan, but there's just stuff I wasn't using on it just because I didn't make it as convenient as I thought, and convenience really is king when it comes to whether or not you utilize something for its intended utility. But yeah, so we're gonna keep going, and I'm gonna figure out how much of that I want to take down and take apart. But otherwise, I got the height, and obviously, you know, on the top, I'll probably take it off at that corner because it's pretty far away right there. And I can't push it this way anymore. And that's also why I wasn't using a full width piece, because I don't need it to be a full width piece. So thanks to that shelving that's going to be in there, which also makes that window still openable and usable instead of blocking it off entirely. So anyway, good stuff. And yeah, we'll keep moving. I'll show you guys when I get progress on something new. All right, guys. So I've got it notched out where I want it to transition from front shelving to back shelving. And I've got it marked out there for the first shelf. And that's gonna reach across and then have another piece that comes up and ties into the ceiling, because this wood paneling actually goes back about 6 inches underneath the headliner. And then I'm actually going to drop that all the way down to this lower shelf height, which is that line there, which continues out to that opening over there. And then underneath that will be space where I can actually store my my Arctic cooler right now, and some other stuff, and eventually where I can put a refrigerator setup. Now I haven't actually done anything with the bed right here. I've been working on getting the aluminum angle all nice and secured. I love these button head screws on aluminum. There's just something about them. I just think it looks great. So that's going to be the face of the bed frame. So it'll stand up. Obviously it'll be level. And that's about how high the bed's going to be. Maybe, you know, just another 3/4 for the actual bed itself. And here's that top shelf. I got the first coat of stain. It's actually the bottom of it, so it'll probably only get the 1 coat of stain. Haven't been videoing my entire process. I mean, I'm staining wood, I'm cutting things, and I'm figuring it out as I go. And I'd rather not have you guys sitting there while I'm figuring shit out and taking my time. As well as I don't want to do a ton of editing at the end of all this. So I've got my cleat on the wall over there. This is just temped in. It's not actually screwed in at all. It's just pressure fit right now. But now that I've got the measurements and everything for the shelving, I can go ahead and take that out, get it sanded down and stained. And then that way tomorrow, after I'm doing my whole brake system tomorrow. So once I get all my brakes done, I'll get back to the bed project. But I don't know, I'm pretty happy with how it's going so far, and I just really miss working with wood and doing projects like this. So I'm just really enjoying it, listening to my 80s new wave radio. I was listening to my Spo's radio station before, but not really feeling the hip hop anymore. Yeah, moving on to some 80s jams and just cruising right along. I am getting super hungry though. I haven't eaten since lunch, so I don't know, I'll probably take one of those kind of breaks here pretty soon, but we'll see. This is a continuation for the van build for the bed. Got things staining. That's going to be part of the shelf and cabinet stuff. Another shelf, another shelf. This is, let me turn the camera around. So this is that pull-out table. I've got it all stained up. This is the top side. So this aluminum rod I'll be slicing and then popping into these slots. And those will get covered with some straps that I am painting right now on the top and the bottom so that it can pivot inside that channel. And it'll be going through these table legs. So drill a couple little holes in there, get that rod set, put a set screw on either side, get it set into its channel, get the straps on there. I got the aluminum channel already mounted onto the edges. This is the inside edge, so the rest of that aluminum 1/2 inch rod is going to be attached to the back of this, and it'll run along 3/4 inch aluminum angle underneath the bed, inside the bed frame, and that way it just kind of slides out. This will be the front edge. Got these to line up pretty good, fitted in there, and then filed them down with my little metal file. Still debating on whether I want to cap the insides, since I can't really screw the inside, but I could epoxy it, and that'll at least continue that nice finished look. And I'll probably leave these ends open just because I don't want any loose flanges sticking out on the sides, because it's not really tied down to anything. But yeah, so we'll get these straps on there, and then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to throw some more channel. This is just a piece of cut off from doing the outside. But yeah, pretty excited. Everything's coming along pretty well. I'm gonna start as soon as these things are dry, and I started painting the 90-degree brackets, and also my straps right here, right over there. I need to do 4 more of those. But once those brackets are nice and dry, I can go ahead and start mounting this up. And so this is basically where the bed's gonna start, and it's gonna run along that rail, and it's all gonna tie in together. So I'm trying to build and finish it piece at a time kind of deal. And then there'll be 90-degree brackets on the bottom of that holding it to the van, and then that will attach to the cabinet wall on this corner over here, flush to the top of cleating. So then that way it'll be level cleating all the way across, and then that side ties into the wall underneath the window, and leaving a little bit of a gap for all those cables and stuff for the wiring harness that runs to the back of the vehicle. Then I've got the big shelf that's going to go on the opposite side of this and then stick out over here. So it'll be a wall on the other side right there, and a shelf there, and a shelf towards the top. But then it'll be exposed shelving with a wall on the, the right side. And then that'll be the window area, and I'll do little barrier walls there or something to make sure nothing falls over into the window. And that'll be attached to the ceiling on the inside with 90-degree brackets. And then there will be another side that I need to build. But I think first what I'm going to do is start with the bottom shelf and the bottom back wall, and the top shelf, and get all that tied together before I even cut the other hanging wall, because it is going to be a hanging wall. It's not going all the way to the ground. And then that way, once it's squared off, mounted up, and in the van, I can actually pull my measurements from the bottom of that shelf over here up to where the ceiling is, since it's not the same ceiling height, because now we're getting into the headliner behind the driver's seat. So yeah, we'll kind of piece it all together as we go. I drew up some pretty detailed plans, but things start to change. If you ever worked on a van, then you definitely understand that. So the process needs to be able to adapt. But so overall, my design is working really well, and I'm really excited for it because it's going to be very minimal. And that's really what I was looking for, was not to waste a bunch of space again. So real excited this time around. Anyway, I'm going to get to it, and I'll show you guys some more updates in a little bit. All right, so I've got the face of the bed frame installed. I think it's pretty sweet. I mean, it's got a little bit of a curve to it, but it'll pull in. I need to eat some honey. Yeah, it'll pull in and straighten out once I get the actual top piece on there. It'll fit to that edge, and we'll screw it together. But next step is get this thing assembled. I just finished cutting all the straps and painting them. They're over there. These 90-degree brackets are now dry enough to start using. So I'm going to get the shelving put onto this and get the back walls mounted on, or at least the bottom back wall. The top one's going to have to be another little jiggy one because, it meets the headliner right over there. So we'll get the bottom shelf, bottom back wall, top shelf, and once that's all mounted up, we're going to get that whole piece put in over there behind the driver's seat, and then connected to this, get a 90-degree bracket on it over there. And then that will make this much more rigid, get it tied into the wall. And then before we do the top piece, we're going to work on the rails and the sliders for our kitchen table kind of setup. But I will be doing like a temp piece over here to hold this steady and level, just to make sure it's got the rigidity it needs on this end. Anyway, yeah, we're going to get to it. All right. So I got the bottom shelf, top shelf mounted. Didn't realize I cut a board for the top here, which actually isn't going to work, but I can use it for down here, and it'll actually leave me a little gap underneath this shelf on the inside of that closed cabinet, just so that doesn't build up stale air, I guess. I don't know. It works. It doesn't need to go from top to bottom. It's not going to be that rigidly structural. Plus, once I get this wall piece on the back, which is actually going to go all the way out and then angle up, and then angle up to there, and then attach to the roof, so it'll be a nice big piece right there. anchored into the roof or ceiling and everything. Maybe, kind of depends. We'll see how it goes. But that's the idea right now. Just so that these open shelves have some sort of backing so that stuff's not falling on me while I drive. But then it also will help keep it rigid, especially having that shelf here, tying it all together, and the shelf or the back walls up here and down there, tying everything together. So it'll be nice, it'll be strong. I'm pretty stoked. But now I'm waiting on that piece to dry, and I'm waiting on stuff that I painted to dry. So I think I'm going to take a lunch break and go make some eggs, because I'm starving. I haven't eaten yet today, so let's get it done. Okay, so I didn't take a lunch break yet. I found other things to do. What I did was I carved some plywood into dowels and then construction glued it. Come on, focus. Into the ends of the rods, a few inches, so then when I drill through, I've got something solid on the inside for the aluminum rod, and then when I tie it in with some set screws, it'll be that much stronger. I've got the shelving all done up, so everything's bracketed on. That wall is just screwed into the bottom right there. So now we're going to take this whole piece, stand it up, get it up inside the van, and situated along my guidelines that I've got chalk lined down and drawn out, and that way we can bracket that corner into the wall, and then get the wall bracketed to the floor and the wall, and then we'll have this tied in to that corner over there, and it's gonna look a lot better, like we've actually made some progress. All right, see you in a minute. All right, so we've got the faceplate in, and we've got that mounted up to the floor and the walls. It's not mounted to the ceiling yet because I want to make sure I've got it nice and level and straight up from the floor, but got a bracket against the wall there and over here, and then I'll be able to take my measurements from this bottom shelf to the ceiling and get that back piece cut, and then I'll be able to level this shelf since it's a little flimsy right now, and then that'll be pretty much all tied in. I'm pretty stoked, and all that will be open. Pretty freaking stoked. I really like the way it's looking so far, and it is a lot less weight than the last bed frame, which was just super sturdy. Definitely overbuilt. Anyway, so I'm gonna keep going on this, waiting for some things to dry, paint on brackets and whatnot. So now I'm actually gonna go eat lunch. All right, so I've got the tops, those plates screwed on, looking pretty good. I had a screw break off, but it went all the way in and then broke at the very top of the pan head, so I think it's all right. If I swing this back up, it lays nice and flat. Now I'm gonna put the back straps on, and that will fully encase this. Boom. And that's the underside. You know, the other leg's right in here. And then, so it'll flip over, and then that side will have the rod on the back, and it'll slide into the van going that way. And then when I pull it out, those legs will drop on their own, and I can telescope them to whatever height I need, depending on where I'm parked, which is super rad. Really excited. So I'm gonna get this finished, and then I'm gonna get it lined up in here for the rail system. It's gonna be a rail on this side, and then there's gonna be a rail over here, probably running right alongside the wheel well, and it'll be just underneath the bed frame. I'm super stoked, so let's get going. All right, so I'm marking these a 1/2 inch in, and then I'm slicing them, these channel pieces, and then bending the edges over so that on each side there is a stopping point on the rail. That way as it's coming, it'll stop, but it still has the ability to pivot. So I didn't want it to be locked in, because then I can't really actually change the elevation. But this way it's at least locked into the rail, and it slides in and out smoothly. So pretty stoked. I'm gonna get these both taken care of, and then get them, at least one of them, mounted up on that face over there. Yeah, then I got to figure out how I'm gonna mount and attach the other one. It might be connected to like a 1x4 or something, or 1x2 or 3. that drops down from the actual bed piece, which just means I'm gonna have to lay under there and do some screwing around. But yeah, pretty excited. It's coming along really well so far, so we're just gonna keep putting along. All right, my apologies, I got a little bit ahead. I got excited. I got the main baseboard on. I mounted up this rail channel. I don't know how well you guys can see it because it's the brightness, and then I got it measured out and mounted up on this side. I'm just gonna finish screwing it from the top down, but otherwise the table is installed. I'll have to figure that part out. All right, as I was saying, I've got it just about all the way mounted up, got to finish screwing it from the top, and I just adjusted the one, and now it works pretty darn good. It's easier with two hands. The legs just swing squealy, and then they swing freely, and then I can adjust them whatever height I want. That's about almost as far as it'll pull out. But then if I set up my cook stove over here, I'm not cooking underneath my hatch, which is sweet. I think it looks pretty good. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and stain these insides instead of doing the aluminum. I don't wanna, well, maybe I'll do aluminum angle. I've got plenty of that. But yeah, we're gonna see how it goes, because I use the channel for the sliders instead of the angle, so I might use the angle for this, because then I can just screw it from the top down and have it flush down this. Yeah, let's do that. Now that I'm talking about it out loud, it sounds pretty good. All right, and I don't know if I'm gonna stain this yet. I probably should. I got plenty of time. Well, for it to dry anyway. Right now my bed is upstairs in my room, and I've been sleeping on it, and I miss that bed so much. It's so comfy. But yeah, so gonna finish getting this set up, stain the top. Then I need to build a little bit of a wall down underneath there, some support system for this. Also for where the legs are going to be going. Build a little, oh, actually I could build a little swivel, so it sits underneath. And then when the legs are tucked away and in, I just lock the legs up when it's like a single screw swivel. That's perfect. Let's just keep it simple. Awesome. And then I've got plenty of storage underneath, and I don't even have to do that cross brace anymore. Freaking rad. Love it. But it turned out so freaking great so far. I'm really excited. I'm gonna go ahead and sink some more screws in there because I like to overbuild. And then I'm gonna just leave this the way it is on this end. But I am gonna put a wall just in front of the wheel well, or kind of by the wheel well, I guess, right there. And that's where my cookware stuff's gonna slide into and stop at. And then I even have some extra space over here because it's just an open space corner pocket, which is neat. Food storage, whatever. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's coming along really great. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'm just gonna keep putting away at it, and I'll update you when I remember to. All right, ciao. Okay, so I'm really stoked how it looks. Got that aluminum angle in those slots. I think it looks pretty slick. I'm gonna try to do one leg, but I'm gonna pull the table out all the way first. Okay, I'm gonna try to flip one leg up. I put these catches underneath that swivel into place. So we'll see, one leg up and swivel that into place. Boom, and that catches. And I'm not gonna do the other one because I only got one hand right now. But both of them have that catch. Swivels in, swivels out. Just keep it super simple. And yeah, now I can send it. It'll go all the way in. Last thing is a little crossbar from underneath here with a right angle support to the bottom of that ripped down 2x4. And that'll catch the front end of the table, and then it'll just float over everything I've got inside and underneath. I'm really excited. I think it looks pretty fucking rad. And I'm stoked. So yeah, anyway, I'm just gonna keep putting away like I said last time. Hey everybody, so it's been a few days. It's Thursday today. Days of the week don't matter when you're underwater. But working on Max, and today I'm going to continue working on the bed frame. Driving around the last couple days, I noticed that the little stoppers I made just kind of bounce and wiggle out of place. So I've got some magnets in my topper up top that I'm going to use to basically secure those into place and kind of make those a little bit more substantial as far as stoppers go, instead of just those little wiggly things. So simple, yes, is always better, but make sure simple is also designed properly. So I'm going to get those going, that way the legs stay up and they don't fall down like this. I also want to look into, since if you can see it, this little support bracket right here isn't that wide, but what I want to do is maybe put a couple of like caster wheels, boom, right there, so that it holds it level all the way across. And then when I'm pulling it out, it has something to roll across, whether they're on the ends or closer to the middle, whatever. Doesn't really matter to me, as long as it's got something to actually roll on, just to make that action smoother. But today I think what I'm going to do is, I've got the length already cut for the top board. So I think I'm just going to get the width of it cut and get the edge on it over here, get the angle iron on that edge, and then that'll give me a much better reference for how far out it's going to come. I mean, I know it's 27¼ inches from here to wherever it lands over here, but I know I'm also going to have to likely rebuild this, and I kind of want to rebuild this anyway. I did a good job on it, don't get me wrong, but you know, if it could be better, then por qué no? Alright, so I don't actually have to rebuild this. I could modify it or just add some parts to it, but I kind of want it to be a little bit longer, where it might take up a little bit of space over here in the doorway, but we're talking like maybe 6 inches further. And then also these shelves will be a little bit deeper, but the most important thing is right now this face is not square to this face, so when the bed comes out here, this is going to require a significant amount of modification, and I'd rather rebuild it to where it just looks right and then it functions properly without some crazy wacky whatever going on. You guys know what I mean, streamline. Anyway, and also maybe see if we can get the backboard up for the cabinet over there behind the driver's seat. That way that'll just be dunsies over there. And I also might need to make some more of these 90-degree brackets. Hey guys, so I got this end cap for the shelf, the other wall, all measured out, dry fit, and I'm going to make a couple marks on it for where the shelves need to line up. And then I'm going to go ahead and stain both sides, give it 2 coats, and then I can go ahead and get it installed over there. I've also got the back wall for the upper little cabinet thing right here. And then I found somebody had a bathroom vanity that they were throwing away, and I was able to take the faceplate because it was all broken down, and I got some sweet hinges that I'm going to clean up with some fine sandpaper and get that brass shining, or bronze, brass, one of the two. Anyway, and I also got some sweet little sliding door closet wheels that I'm going to see if I can adjust so that I can create those casters I was talking about, so that rolls out a little bit smoother. And I think I might have found some even tinier wheels than these, because these are 3/4 or 7/8. I found some 3/4, and if I can shave them down just a little bit, then those could fit inside these channels I made, and that way I can pull that table out, trim the ends of that aluminum tubing that's on the end that's sliding in there right now, and put some actual wheels on there. It's been hard to find something small enough that'll fit inside there, but I think I might have found it. So we're going to go ahead and give those, or at least these, a try, and you know, if I decide I want to, then I'll find a way to get those other wheels attached on the ends. And then I've got my brackets I made yesterday. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing stained up, and then while that's drying out, I'm gonna go ahead and sandpaper those hinges. Okay, so I've got 4 of these, which you can see they're not in the greatest shape. Well, I mean, color-wise, oxidation, water, whatever. So I've been sanding them down and cleaning them up, so that now they look kind of antique-y. I can't get all the crevices, but I actually kind of like the way that looks on them. So it's all shined up, and I just got the last one to do. And yeah, those are drying and looking great. I'm about to get them flipped over whenever they're dry enough, but otherwise I'm just going to keep working away on these. I also reshaped those little caster sliding wheels, so hopefully I can get those mounted up. Ooh, burpee today. Hopefully I can get those mounted up also today. I don't know, it seems like I'm burpee every day. Yeah, weather permitting, I'll open the garage door and get some more work done. Hey everybody, so I got that other cabinet piece all stained up and ready to go. And if we walk over here to the van, I got those brass hinges mounted also yesterday, so I can make doors for those. But we're gonna get that other side piece on. Boop. And I haven't had to buy fasteners yet. I'm just reusing all the ones from the last bed frame that you guys, that I pulled out on the beginning of this video, which is taking over a week to make. Whatever, not a big deal. I've been really busy, and it's nice that I can do this a piece at a time. So, not complaining. Pretty stoked. Get this thing going up, and then I can fit my cooler down there, and one day a refrigerator. And then my bookshelves will be ready too. I'm gonna make kind of like a charging station, I think, one of these days over there on that shelf. But yeah, and I've got a couple other small projects and everything that I'm just gonna putt around on, like an old man. All right, so I got the little caster wheels up there, and now this thing rolls out smoother. I'm just kind of mount it up. Boom, boom, boom. Kind of had to finagle them a little bit, pound them into submission, but that was fine. And I've got the other side on and all the new brackets on it. So now I've got bookshelf slash whatever, power station, and I can have more books up top, but I am going to put a door there that has a little notch cut out so it'll actually open up. But yeah, then I'll have 2 shelves with doors on them. And then my seat can go right back flush with that, and that gives me plenty of leg room now, thank goodness. And now I still have plenty of room over here. And yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of space now. It's much lower profile. And I have almost 8 inches from the floor up instead of barely 7. Which is, an inch is a pretty significant difference because the height is also much lower, which means when I'm sitting in it, I can sit all the way up, and I have plenty of head clearance. So if I'm sitting back, it's going to be even better, and I'm stoked. Obviously there's going to be a 6-inch Cooler Gel memory foam full-size mattress on here because that's what's upstairs, and it's incredibly comfortable. I'm never getting rid of it. I don't care what you say. So the back of that, like before, will come up here in couch mode. It'll angle down. I've got my little eyelet screw right here for a bungee, and then there's a piece of frame on the van over there. I am going to readjust this. I'm going to take that speaker out, make some sort of cover and mount for it, and put it up in that corner. Just to make it look nice, but get rid of the bulk, and then also finish that part of the framing over there and cover up that wiring or whatever, just so it looks nicer. And then I also noticed that I buried my Reflectix, so what I'm doing is I'm going to add a strip of Velcro on the inside here, then this piece will go over it, Velcro closed. Shit, maybe I don't even need the Velcro. Maybe I'm just doing extra steps. I'll put that screw back, but then that way this can all roll up independently, and I don't have to worry about this side at all. And the window can still open. because of taking measurements. You know, it's important to do that. So yeah, everything can still roll up. And this right here, I think I'll just leave it down even if this is up, because that will help protect the books. And I gotta figure out, maybe do like a wire frame or something around here from corner to corner. I don't think I'm really gonna need it down here, but I don't know, we'll see. Still kind of figuring it out and having fun with it. So it's been great. I've really enjoyed the rebuild on this one. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I finally just saw a couple other Astro camper designs, the one specifically like this, with this whole kind of shelf setup that I'm mimicking. Thank you for that. That opened up so many brain pathways for me in my imagination. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my god, I could do a much lower profile bed frame and actually sit in my van. And so next, I'm gonna keep a lot of the internal stuff on this, you know, like against the van wall. I'm gonna keep all that right there, but these shelves and probably this brace and stuff will be coming out. I'm thinking about extending it so that all this stuff is kind of included in there, and that'll give me like a nice little shelf thing here. I don't know, maybe some more storage. I just don't need it to be that short, and if I have it a little bit longer, then I have a longer cleat for this, so when I have the second piece come out and drop in. I ended up not having enough of the 3/4 inch plywood because the guy at Home Depot cut it 2 inches short. I said 75 3/8, and he gave me 73 and like 5/16. I'm just, whatever. I'm going to use it for shelving material. I'll get another sheet of 3/4 later. It just kind of sucks that you know what I mean. It's frustrating, especially when I sat there and I waited for over 45 minutes because they kept telling me, oh, somebody's on their way. Oh, somebody's on there. Oh, he's just unloading a truck real quick. And then the guy gets there and he goes, oh, this saw's actually broken. Broke yesterday. Why the hell am I still here? And on my way out of the store, a manager finally looks at me and he goes, have you been helped? Just because he's doing his job. And I'm like, well, I was waiting at the cut table, but apparently the saw's broken. And the guy that was supposed to be operating the saw is like right next to me. I say guy, he's like a kid. And he's like, oh no, that got fixed at the end of the day yesterday. And the kid's like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, you knew that. And I'm just like, of course. So we go back to the cut table, and then the kid who's supposed to be the one trained to operate it doesn't know how to turn it on. Somebody else has to come. Anyway, it was a whole thing, it was a whole ordeal. I'm done with that rant, but it's just like, just let me operate it. Just punch in the cone, or cone. It's a hot day. A lot of diving today. I'm tired. Just punch in the code. Let me make the cuts. I know how to operate a saw. I know how to measure things too. I should have checked. I should have double checked. I should have verified. That's my fault. But whatever. So we'll get there one of these days with the second layer. So for now, I'll just be in single person bed mode, which is fine because I'm a single person sleeping on this bed. So pretty stoked though. I'm super excited about this. And I love these hinges. I think they turned out great, and they have, you know, that kind of, they set, you know. There's a lot of other bathroom vanities and cabinet pieces I saw on my dumpster diving runs, but nothing quite like this. All the fancy. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna conclude this video because it just seems like it's dragging on like crazy. I'm gonna do some massive editing, and then I'll post it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's not totally finished, but I'll update on my Instagram, Go For It Studios, and on my Facebook, Ryan Craig, and yeah, I'll get that going. And once I get it, you know, the bed back in here and stuff, like at the end of the month, once this course is over and I get this shelving stuff, you know, like I'll update some pictures. All right. If you sat through this whole thing, thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Random, fresh, new content coming whenever I feel like it. If you guys want to see build videos, if you guys want some plans, if you need help drawing plans, I love drawing plans. Or if you need some exercise advice or help with anything specific, like how's your form, or what to do for this or what to do for that, or even like some minor rehabilitation, got some knowledge. So ask me some questions, leave some comments, and I'll get back to you guys later. Ciao.